Welcome to the Eyes on Texas channel. I'm your host, AK Alistair King, and today I have the complete wrap-up, the complete breakdown of the entire class of 2022 for our Texas Longhorns. And in the class of 2022, we finished 5th overall in the rankings. Not bad considering we had Steve Sarkisian sputtering down the stretch, finishing the season with a 5-7 record. Overall, in the Big 12, we were going to be first, finishing above the University of Oklahoma and everyone else in the Big 12. Overall, we had a total of 28 commits. Absolutely outstanding size for a class that we absolutely needed to reload and rebuild. And rebuild we did, and in the headline, you can absolutely 100% see we rebuilt in the trenches, signing 7 massive offensive linemen. Big time need in the class. The crown jewel is going to be Devon Campbell, DJ Campbell, and of course Mr. Banks, the big time 5-star offensive prospects from the offensive line. Only the 5th and 6th 5-star offensive linemen that the Texas Longhorns have reeled into their fold since the composite rankings have started about 21-24 years ago. And only landing one running back, that's going to be Mr. Jaden Blue. Big time program that he came from Klein in the Houston area, only landing 2 wide receivers. Both are going to be the slot type receivers. We have Brennan Thompson coming from Spearman, Texas, the absolute speed burner, the Mr. Track Star, whose best time in the 100 meter is going to be 10.31 seconds. And then we kind of had the Mr. Utility Belt, Savion Red, coming out of Garland, Texas out there. Only 1 wide receiver, both in the slot. 1 wide receiver is also going to be coming out of the slot. 1's a speedster, and 1 is going to be a machine out there doing different utility things. 1 linebacker scored for the Texas Longhorns. That's going to be Travell Johnson. We did have lots of ups and lots of downs in this recruiting cycle, as you can absolutely see. With some of those ups, we're going to have landing, scoring big commitments in the trenches that we absolutely needed, bolstering both the offensive and defensive linemen. That was a big-time scores. Some of the downs was going to be some of the decommitments. We did have a decommitment this year. The biggest one is going to be from Evan Stewart, the 5-star Mr. Do-It-All wide receiver coming out of Frisco, Liberty, Texas. But with that being said, this is going to be highlight reel. We did score 28 overall recruits. We did have 4 big-time major gets in the portal. With that being said, let's go ahead and check on those recruits. And I do have a video stream here for us. I do have a video highlight reel that I did say that I did have available for you guys. And I am going to go ahead and play that for you guys right now. So without further ado here, so the first one coming up here, we're going to start out on the defensive side of the ball. And coming up first is going to be a major player, Mr. Justice Finley. He's going to be listed as an edge. He is going to be 6'2", right at 245 pounds there. As you can see, he's a big-time motor player, a big-time player coming out of Alabama. We did score him from the University of Alabama as he did come down to Texas and the Crimson Tide, Mr. Books and Ball. As you can see here, coming up from his highlight film here, Justice Finley, nationally rated number 115 in the nation, a 4-star prospect coming out of Hewitt-Trussville, Alabama. He is an edge prospect. As I did say, he is 6'2", right at around 255 pounds. We did score him over Alabama, and the University of Texas did score him over the University of Colorado. As this young man, as I did say, he wanted a combination of Books and Ball, and so he chose the University of Texas. And you can see from his highlight film, you can see from his scores, man, as he is a major force coming off on the edge. As he has a strong motor. He did score big in the Under Armour game played well all throughout whole entire week of scrimmage, and the week of practice is really the main deal whenever you're talking about the Under Armour game. Is yeah, you want them to play big, you want them to show up big time in the actual game itself, but man, it really is that practice where you do want to go ahead and have these guys shine. And where you do see their motor, you do see where they at one-on-one, and you do see how they interact with the other 5-star and other 4-star players. Because a lot of times with the other guys, with these big-time talent, these big-time players that play with these programs in smaller states and smaller campuses, they don't get to play against guys that can bully them back. You know what I mean? Guys that are just as big, guys that are just as strong. And with that being said, Justice Finley absolutely showed out big time whenever it came for him to go to iron versus iron. And of course, the next one coming up is going to be Jarae Bledsoe. He's going to be an interior defensive lineman, more than likely, as he's 6'4", 270 pounds, coming out of Marlin, Texas. As I do believe he did not get a chance to play his senior year, as he did transfer. He had to get his books back, had to get his grades right. But that being said, it was the only way he was going to be able to eligible to play for a D1 college, and that was going to be the goal. That was going to be the goal for everybody playing major time ball, and who is a nationally rated 4-star recruit. As you can see, he is a 171 rated prospect, top 200 prospect by 247 Sports, and that's going to be the overall composite that I do use. Coming out of Marlin, as I did say, good size, good athleticism, as you can see him coming off the ball here. Good twitch and good size and good movement. Very, very good score, very good group of defensive linemen that we did get here. As I did say before earlier, that we did get 7 defensive linemen in the class of 2022. An absolute need in the class for the Texas Longhorns, but my personal opinion. But yeah, as you can see, just absolutely disruptor, getting to the quarterback here, just getting into the backfield whenever he really can. Absolutely bullying defenders, getting the ball on offense a little bit here as he rumbles and stumbles here. Just people getting off him for a first down, as they absolutely could not get the big fella off him. But an absolute beast, an absolute good get for the Texas Longhorns, as I was absolutely excited to see them get the big fella from Marlin, Texas. Oh. Yep, coming up next, this is the guy who slid down in the ratings his senior season, as he was a 4-star, was a 300 and top 300 guy, nationally composite rating. He did slide a bit. He is from South Haven, Mississippi. Not quite sure why he did slip there, as his was dominant his senior season. His film absolutely does show that. He's going to be another interior guy. Of course, we're talking about Aaron Bryant from South Haven, Mississippi, another class of 2022 guy. 6'4", 306 pounds, absolutely disruptor. Good movement, as you can tell. Good quickness, heavy-handed individual. Whenever Aaron Bryant comes down there, whenever he is lined up over your center, line up over your guard, you must double team in high school. And with that being said, it needs to bolster that athleticism to garner the same double teams throughout his collegiate career. But a big-time playmaker, a big-time get for the Texas Longhorns, as he finished up nationally rated the 52nd overall defensive lineman, 12th best player in Mississippi, and he was a 3-star athlete. Nationally rated as number 404 nationally. But interior linemen, you absolutely need these guys. We absolutely need the depth. We absolutely need the talent coming in for the Texas Longhorns as we do enter the SEC. As we do know, it is an absolute line of scrimmage league. Absolute line of scrimmage league. And you need depth on the interior. As you saw every single time we came up against a big-time opponent that had offensive linemen such that were in the SEC as the Hogs, as man, Arkansas really seemed to push our guys around, and I did not like that we saw in that. We need more depth, more talent, and I do believe that Aaron Bryant is going to be another example of that. on the interior line for the Texas Longhorns. Coming up next is going to be Jamon Tap. Jamon Tap was another from the 4-star recruit for the Texas Longhorns, another out-of-state guy, another out-of-state get for us. As you can see, Jamon is going to be a top 100 guy, 106 rated by 247 Sports. He's an edge, 6'3", 245 pounds. Got some good wiggle to him, absolute good movement as he is rated very high, as you can see. Coming out of the great state of Louisiana, he was the 10th best player in Louisiana and a top-rated edge rusher overall as he was number 11th in that position. Coming from Donaldsville, Louisiana, and playing for a Catholic school, a private school down in there, and you can see him absolutely disrupting up the middle and on the edge for his Catholic squad, making plays, heavy-handed for an interior lineman, adding more depth and more to that interior line. Just to let you know, as far as highlights go, I do have about 2 minutes of every single guy on here, just about 2 minutes on them. I do want to keep it even, keep it fair. There are a couple of guys that did get a little bit more. I did put a little bit more, of course, Quinn Ears, and of course I did put just a little bit more on Malik Murphy. But if I thought that was just a little bit fair. But the big, heavy-handed defensive lineman here coming out of the great state of Louisiana, Jamon Tap, another great pickup. Very happy to have him coming off the edge, and hopefully will make an impact coming down the line. Maybe not the first year, but will make an impact for the Texas Longhorns at some point. But as anytime you see these guys, please comment what you think about them. Please comment which ones are your favorite. We did have 28 overall commits in the class of 2022. Like I did say, we have 8 defensive linemen, 7 offensive linemen, only 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 linebacker. Of course, we have a couple more defensive backs spattered out there. But this is someone who I believe is highly underrated, someone who is just getting his name buried under the fold, unfortunately, and undeservedly so, that he was the Touchdowns Club Defensive Player of the Year in the Houston area. An absolute big-time pickup for the Texas Longhorns, in my opinion. Talking about Christopher Ross on the defensive line. Played for a big-time program on North Shore, the biggest classification for the best high school football in all of the nation, in my personal opinion. As Texas, we played the best high school ball out of any single state, in my personal opinion. Consistently, year in, year out, he butted heads with the best. Christopher Ross is a 4-star prospect, nationally rated 239 and a top-rated 32 overall defensive lineman. And in the great state of Texas, he was a top 40 guy. Believe he was under the fold just a little bit, maybe for his height, but I really don't understand why. He's 6'3", 280 pounds. Coming out of North Shore, as he is an absolutely developed guy. As a strength and conditioning coach, sure does do a good job with these guys from North Shore, in my personal opinion, as they are all stout down low. As you look at these guys, they're all tree trunk dudes. He's definitely going to uproot some guards in the interior line once he comes on the collegiate scene here. Christopher Ross, 6'3", 280 pounds. Probably want to get him up in the 300, 305 round, but definitely does have great side-to-side movement. As that's what you want to look for when you're talking about the defensive linemen. Is you want them to have heavy hands. You want them to push those offensive linemen off them, and you want them to have a great step and strength. And Christopher Ross, man, he just displays all of that, and really is getting under the fold here, by my personal opinion. Of course, as you can see, coming up next on, we have Mr. Derrick Brown, who is going to be an edge raider. As you can see, very happy to be a Texas Longhorn, as he was a major component for recruiting for the Texas Longhorns on social media. If you follow social media or follow the boards or Facebook or anything like that, you definitely heard the name Derrick Brown, as he was a big-time supporter and a big-time recruiter for the class of 2022. So horns up to you, Derrick. There were lots of other people that were putting out the word, that were trying to get and bolster up this class as big as it could be, but none other did a better job than Mr. Derrick Brown. I most without a doubt appreciate that. But he is an edge rusher, 6'3", a little bit light. Will he stick to be an edge rusher, or will he be an interior linebacker? He did drop back and play some coverage, to play some traditional linebacking skills, but the majority of his snaps you can most definitely see from watching his film, as he does come off as a speed edge rusher, as he is 6'3", 210 pounds, a little bit light coming off that edge. 4-star recruit, nationally rated 305, and as an edge rusher, he was 27th. But a major component, someone who needs to put a little bit of weight on him, needs to strengthen himself up, but needs to keep that weight. But I'm not going to talk about whatever he doesn't have. I'm going to talk about whatever he does bring to it, and he does bring that speed coming off the edge, and he was a major player for the Texas Longhorns as a recruiter, and for that, we will always love and respect him for it. Because what we do need is these guys who are through and through Texas Longhorns, guys that are 100% going to bleed the burnt orange for us. We didn't have everybody kind of sort of buying in to what was going on last year, going on last season. And that might have been our downfall down the stretch. As you can see, that we were not holding up at the end of ball games in the third and fourth quarter in these second halves, as we were absolutely burning down. We were absolutely getting teared down. And on the defensive line is where we were most definitely getting down and worn down specifically. But Zack Swanson, another defensive lineman, pretty much on the tail end of all the defensive linemen that we did score in this class of 2022, as I did highlight it, that we are coming back in the trenches. And this in the trench guy is going to be an out-of-state prospect in the class of 2022. As he is this defensive lineman, is he an interior guy? Will he be some kind of sort of buck or edge rusher? I'm not quite sure. He's 6'4", 255 pounds. Another guy who might have been lost in the fold, as we did get some of these other big-time playmakers, these other bigger-name defensive linemen. But Zack Swanson put in great time, put in great work, and his senior season, as well as his junior season, film was absolutely dominant, but he backed it up in that senior film. The senior season was absolutely amazing. Coming out of Brophy College Preparatory out of Phoenix, Arizona, as he's a 4-star recruit, nationally rated as 379th best, and a top 50 defensive lineman. And in the great state of Arizona, was a top 5 player out there. But someone who backed up his 4-star rating with his senior film. And like I said, he might play in the interior, probably will play on the interior. He needs to get a little bit stronger if he is going to be on the interior guy. But definitely heavy hands, definitely in the good side-to-side wiggle guy, as that is what you're going to need coming up to run down and chase down these running backs and ball carriers. But definitely coming into the SEC, as I cannot reiterate enough, as we are going to need a bevy of these defensive linemen to hold up through and through 1, 2, and in the second half, playing in the third and fourth quarters, because we all know what happened to the Texas Longhorns in the third and fourth quarters, is that we did seem to fall off, and we did seem to obviously lose our leads as we tailed off in the second half of our season. Okay, so someone that we straight up stole from the university, flipment season, decommitment season was strong. Ethan Burke, a tall, lanky edge rusher, we straight up stole from the Michigan Wolverines. Very excited to have him on the 40. Very excited to have this man, as he is close to home, playing all his time in the Westlake, in the Austin area, 6'7", 225 pounds. Majority of his film is going to be as a lacrosse player, as majority of his time was spent as a lacrosse player, was absolutely committed to the best lacrosse team in the nation, the Maryland Terrapins, as they were ranked #1 at the time. But with that being said, let's talk about him as a football player for Austin Westlake. Was a part of that championship defensive lineman and was a member of the Twin Towers, another member of the defensive lineman coming from the Austin Westlake. Hopefully get him up into the fold as well. But let's talk about this kid, as he is absolutely rising as a recruit. Someone who was ranked in the 600s, 500, was definitely a 3-star. The majority of his senior season was definitely not really much known about under the fold. Come up and snuck up on people throughout his senior season. Ethan Burke. Absolutely fantastic that we did get him. Needs to fill out that frame, that 6'7", 225 pounds, but he did play major high school ball. I cannot emphasize this, in the great state of Texas for one of the highest classifications, as Austin Westlake. I just play 6A Division II, I do believe, but plays major ball for one of the best programs in the nation for Austin Westlake, and he displayed that athleticism, coming up off the edge in that in the state championship game, as he was coming off the edge, and was absolutely disruptive all game long against that Denton Ryer squad, who has another playmaker at quarterback, but absolutely was stolen from the Michigan Wolverines late, just before his senior season. Is going to be Ethan Burke. And our only playmaker that we have from the linebacker position, the only linebacker that we did have, as I did say earlier, is going to be Mr. Travell Johnson. And he is going to be the one that we have featured here. And he is going to be from Arlington Martin. And he spent the majority of his time on the bench this season, as he was injured the majority, if not all of his senior season, I do believe. Someone is going to be a nationally rated as a 3-star recruit. You see him a bit undersized, as he's 6'1", right at 200 pounds. Nationally rated as a 3-star recruit, 530 overall. But in the great state of Texas, a top 75 guy and a top 50 linebacker, nationally ranked as well. Coming from Arlington Martin, plays a big-time ball as well, as he is going to be another former teammate of another commit and of another playmaker, Mo Blackwell, who was a freshman standout for the Texas Longhorns. Let's go ahead and say that Mo Blackwell is going to be a stud, and he played on the defense along with Travell. So we got future teammates coming together on the 40 for the Texas Longhorns. And as you can see, Travell Johnson making some plays here for us, as he does like to stick his nose in the ball. He's not afraid to put that 6'1", 200-pound frame. But the only linebacker signing that we did get on the class of 2022, and we also didn't get any guys in the portal. So much needing to get this need to fill this hole in the class of 2023, as well as maybe possibly fill it with some more portals, with some more transfer portal guys in the future. But Travell Johnson, absolutely cannot hate on the young man, as he was nationally rated as a 3-star recruit. But this young man, talking about someone that we did steal, flip, whatever, from another program, another major university, as this is going to be our highest rated defensive back. We get all of the big uglies on the defensive lineman, and this is going to be our best rated defensive back. We're talking about Terrence Brooks from Little Elm, Texas. Absolutely fantastic, and absolutely happy that we did get him from The Ohio State University, as he committed to the Horns as a nationally rated 82 overall prospect, a top 100 guy, top 10 cornerback, and in the great state of Texas, he was 14th ranked overall. Absolutely fantastic that we got Terrence Brooks, as his back pedal and his size and physical presence coming out of the backfield is going to be a much need for the Texas Longhorns, because that's a position that we do not have any playmakers right now. Ever since I've been covering the Texas Longhorns, ever since these last couple of years, we've had some playmakers, but man, just absolutely turning our heads and making plays on the ball is something that we have been lacking. And Terrence Brooks and others is going to believe I believe that can hopefully possibly get in here and fill up a role very quickly. If anybody on this defensive backfield that we did get in this class of 22 has a chance of playing time early, I do believe Terrence Brooks has the chance. LTG was going to be a guy that I'm very excited about as well. He needs to get his body right as he spent some time. COVID season didn't play because he's a California recruit and he was injured. But Terrence Brooks is going to be someone who looks to get early playing time for the Texas Longhorns. Brian Allen Jr. as a safety is someone that's going to look to get some early playing time as a safety prospect. But without a doubt, was very excited that we got this kid to flip from Ohio State and stay in the great state of Texas as Terrence Brooks committed to the Texas Longhorns. And then, like I said, talking about early playing time candidates, talking about playmakers, and on his highlight reel, he says, see ball, get ball, hit ball, and that's the kind of sort of player that he is. As Brian Allen Jr. is a sideline-to-sideline thumper coming out of Aledo, a highly nationally rated recruit, another top 100 guys. He's nationally rated 126 in the nation, a 4-star recruit, a top 10 safety. And as far as all prospects in Texas, he is a 20th rated guy, but an absolute big-time thumper playing major high school ball for the Aledo Bearcats, as I do believe they won 2 state championships whenever he was there and lost in the semifinals, I do believe, this year. As Aledo, if you're from the great state of Texas as I am, you follow high school football, you know that the Aledo Bearcats are one to be reckoned with, and Brian Allen Jr. was the leader for them on defense. His little brother is going to be our only lone commit in the class of 2024, as he is going to be a 5'9" cornerback in the class of 24. A couple of years down the pike for us. But this 6-foot-tall, 185-pound prospect plays a safety position sideline to sideline and has absolutely been another recruit who is absolutely bled orange, bled Texas pride, and has recruited for the Texas Longhorns all over social media throughout his senior season. And for that, we always are going to be in debt for Mr. Brian Allen Jr. But Brian Allen is going to be someone who is definitely going to get some early playing time for the safety position. Might not start right away, probably is not going to start right away, but is definitely going to get some early PT without a doubt. So this next prospect, someone he did flip-flop from his recruitment. We didn't know if he was all in at the moment. Someone who did make a commitment to the University of Texas, talking about ups and downs. Then he did, in fact, have a decommitment from the Texas Longhorns, spend some time off, actually did make a commitment with a rival, another Big 12 squad. He made his commitment to the Longhorns up in Fort Worth. And then once their coaching carousel did end whenever they got rid of Gary Patterson, he did, in fact, decommit to the Horned Frogs, did spend some time off, and now is a Texas Longhorn. But Jalen Gilbert is now on the 40. He is enrolled in as a member of the class of 2022. Might be a cornerback, might be a safety. More than likely is going to be a cornerback. Someone who doesn't have flashy speed and not absolute 100% burner, but great instincts and side-to-side skills, as he is going to be a top 150 guy, 4-star recruit, and another someone who absolutely played well his senior season and played very well on the senior circuit and the All-Star circuit, as he absolutely played well in San Antonio for his All-Star game. Absolutely played well throughout his whole entire week of practice and was probably the best defensive back throughout the whole entire game as well. But Jalen Gilbert is a Texas Longhorn, sputtered earlier with his commitment, but is a Texas Longhorn nonetheless. 6 foot, 175 pounds. All right, coming up next, someone that doesn't have a lot of film out on him as far as a junior and senior, is because I did say he is a California prospect. They didn't have any senior season as far as a COVID year, and his senior, as far as junior season because of his COVID year, and his senior season he didn't put up any film at all because he was injured, and he slid down in the rankings as he was a top 100 guy, someone I had my eye on the whole entire time. Was committed to the University of Arizona, set to be a Sun Devil, but decommitted once they had their coaching uproar and all the downfalls that are going on with that program. But LTG, Larry TurnerGooden, committed to the Texas Longhorns, signed on the dotted line, and will be a member in the class of 2022. And let's talk about this Bishop Alamy safety. As I did say, he is 6 foot tall. I'm not quite sure what his weight is as of right now. He didn't look to in all that great a shape whenever he was committed on national television. He might possibly have a little bit of a roll down there, might have a little bit of a pudge down the belly. Needed to come in a game shape. But with that being said, he is on the 40 right now. He is an early enrollee, and he is on the 40 right now, and they will get him whipped up, and they will get him his second wind, his game wind. And once he does find his wind, LTG will be a big-time prospect by my personal opinion. But he is someone who absolutely has fallen down, no doubt about that. But Larry TurnerGooden is a major prime-time prospect for the Texas Longhorns. The nationally rated 23 safety, nationally rated kid out of California, 23 as well, and someone who did slide for not posting any junior and senior film, as everything that you are seeing here is going to be his sophomore film, when he was listed as an athlete whenever he played cornerback, safety, and wide receiver for his high school squad as well. Someone who I was very high up on, and someone whose recruitment that I did in fact follow quite intensely, as I liked this prospect ever since I saw his film and was on him right away. But Austin Jordan, they'll have him listed as a safety here. Probably going to be a cornerback, might be a safety. I think he's going to be a little bit in between, and I think that he is going to play the nickel position for us. But the most important thing that he is going to bring to the Texas Longhorns, the biggest thing that he is going to bring, his best ability is going to be his versatility. He played all over in the defensive backfield for a major program, but Denton Ryan, major program. Denton Ryan plays major high school football in the great state of Texas, played all over in that defensive backfield, has great size, as he's 6 foot tall, great weight, 190 pounds, is a great frame, 245-pound, nationally rated 4-star. Is he a safety? Is he a corner? Or is he going to be that nickel star kind of sort of hybrid role? I think he's going to be the hybrid role, but it really doesn't matter because I think that he is going to see the field, and I absolutely love what Austin Jordan does bring to the table. As I believe most of the film that you're all going to see him is going to be playing a little bit of deep safety for Denton Ryan, as Austin did play that deep safety role, but he can play all over the field and is a primetime player. Played in big-time ball all throughout the playoff runs and for title games. Austin Jordan, very excited to have him on the 40. Like I did say, his biggest ability that he does for the Texas Longhorns is going to be his versatility. Very excited to have young Austin on the 40, man. Xavier Bryce, an athlete prospect, probably going to play wide receiver for us, but was a 100% athlete his whole entire time for Seguin out there in Arlington, Texas, as he played the majority of his senior season at quarterback, Played a lot of wide receiver, but with this lengthy 6'1", 175-pound frame, probably going to be a defensive back for us, as I believe he is going to be a safety prospect. Needs to fill out that frame, but man, his frame is lengthy and can play a big time role, ranging sideline to sideline for us. As this prospect, I do believe, will be on the defensive side of the ball. You see him there as a wide receiver. You see him a lot playing quarterback as well. You might be talking about this guy as a defensive back and just see him running around, scrambling around here playing quarterback for the majority of his film here. But Xavier Bryce is someone who was committed to the Oklahoma Sooners for the majority of his time as a recruit. We did get him to commit to the University of Texas, and he did sign during the early signing period on December 15th. Absolutely excited to have this lengthy playmaker. Is that what he does bring to the field to us? Is his versatility as a multifunctioning defensive back, in my personal opinion. But Xavier Bryce, he is a bit of a project player. He is someone that needs to fill up that frame. But that lengthy frame, I do very much like that ability. 6'1", 175 pounds, and is an absolute burner of a prospect. Nationally rated as a 3-star, 823rd overall prospect. All right, this is going to be the last person that I have on here today for us. Just going to do half of the just the defensive side of the ball today for us. This is going to be our transfer prospect from the Ohio State University, and this is going to be Ryan Watts. As a prospect, he is going to be a 4-star prospect in the class of 2020, nationally rated as a top 300 guy, top 200 guy really, as he is 6'2", probably about 6'3", right around 190 pounds. Ryan Watts is looking to play cornerback, but he is more than likely going to be a safety for the Texas Longhorns. As I did say, he did transfer in the portal from the Texas Longhorns to the Texas Longhorns from the Ohio State University. I have his high school film on here for us, but Ryan Watts is from Little Elm, Texas, and he is a prospect in the class of 2020, like I did say. Another big frame guy, as he is 6'3", right around 190 pounds. Did play the majority of his time for the Buckeyes as a cornerback, but I believe that he will land as a prospect to play on the defensive side of the ball here for us. But yeah, this is going to be the last person that I have for us on this class of 2022 defensive side of the ball recruitment for us, guys. If you guys want to take any questions for us, that we did in fact sign all of the prospects that did commit to us. I know that was a question here for us. Very excited that we do have all of this top 5 rated class. An absolute major achievement in my personal opinion, considering that the Texas Longhorns, that we did sputter 5-7. Not really the first year head coach that Steve Sarkisian did have in mind. Not really what he had in mind. I'm sure we all did hope for a better year, a better play on the field, but that's not really what we got. The all gas and no brakes mantra did seem to lose its steam. All gas and no brakes didn't really seem to go through all the whole entire season, and the Texas Longhorns didn't really back it up in the play, especially in the second half. And that was an absolutely, man, that was just hard to deal with, and that was just hard to watch as a sports fan, especially a sports fan of the Texas Longhorns for us, man. But that is what I got here for us, guys. That is, unless anybody has any questions for me right now, comments. We did sign all of our guys that we did have for us as far as a prospect that did commit to us, guys. All of our prospects did in fact commit they did, in fact, sign with the Texas Longhorns in the class of 2022. That was one of the questions that we did have. But here in the garage on the snow day, that's why I've been kind of sort of sputting around a little bit. Very excited. If you are new to the program, please like this live stream. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep your head in the swivel, your eyes on Texas. Hook 'em up.